Hello, and thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, coming to you live from Tappan Street Gymnasium in Brookline, Massachusetts, here for the start of the Fall 2 season, a unique existence that could only happen here in 2020-2021. And we're here for the season opener of the Brookline High girls volleyball team as they face visiting Milton. Two teams getting ready to line up. The Brookline Warriors playing in white jerseys on my right, and the Milton Wildcats in red playing on my left for this first set. Milton getting ready to serve. Unfortunately, I do not have Milton's roster just yet. Hopefully I'll get that before the match is over. Brookline getting ready to receive the opening serve. Milton's number 32, a southpaw, lines up for the first serve. It's over and could not be received by Brookline. That's going to be a match-opening ace. Brookline's Jamie Chamberlain tried to reach it, just slightly misjudged it, and it dropped just an inch in front of her hands. 1-0 Milton as we get ready for another serve from 32. Serves up and over. This time it's received by Brookline, but they couldn't quite get a place set, and that's going to be 2 straight points for Milton. Ball was received by number 10, Millie Gumpel, but couldn't receive it cleanly, and then Morgan Brandel, number 16, could not quite chase after the second hit. Another serve from 32, over the net, received by the libero, set by number 7 and spiked over by Brandel, received by Milton. They get set, go for a spike by number 4, well blocked by Brookline, but Milton recovers, and they're going to try for the attack again. Slightly deflected, and Chamberlain gets it over the net. Milton sends it back, Chamberlain starts a set, and Gumpel tries for a spike, but it's long. Nice rally that time as they were able to get some hits back and forth, but Milton once again comes away with the point. So 3-0 Wildcats as we get ready for another serve. 32 off to a hot start for Milton. Another serve from the southpaw. This one was long and a bit of miscommunication on Brookline's side. That's going to be another ace. Both Bree Bacon and Jamie Chamberlain were trying to receive it at the same time and just couldn't get a clean angle on it. 4-0 Milton here in the first set. Milton's number 32 once again going for the serve. Up and over, received cleanly by Bacon, set by Brandel. Gumpel going for the spike, blocked but wide. And so that's going to be Brookline's first point. Milton had a nice double team on the block there of Gumpel's spike, but their block went wide of the sideline, and so Brookline gets their first point 4-1. Brookline's first serve comes from Brandel, and it's long. So Milton instantly gets back on the board, 5-1, they now lead. And we got some rosters coming in, so serving for Milton is number 4. That's Avery Noon. Brookline receives the serve, and a nice spike by Bree Bacon. And Brookline gets their second point. Brookline now getting ready to serve. This is Lily Sternlicht on the serve here. Sternlicht serves up, received by the libero. Set, Milton goes for the spike. He gets over the blocks, but received. And now setting up, it's just pushed over. And Milton now trying to go on the attack, and it gets slightly blocked, but at a wrong angle. And so Milton will take the point, 6-2. Jamie Chamberlain and Ayana Medina were there to try and block it, but they couldn't get a good angle on the block. It didn't get over the net, and no one could chase it down. Now serving for Milton, the libero, number 7, Caroline Humphrey. It's received by Chamberlain, set by Brandel. Chamberlain spikes it over. It's deflected and hit off the ceiling, but they're going to let it keep going. And I think eventually they decided to score that it hit the roof. Either way, Brookline gets the point. 6-3 now the score. Serving up will be the libero, Kali Alexander. Serve is up and over. Received by Milton. They set up the attack. It's slightly deflected, and a nice diving receive by Brandel. Now they're trying to get things going. Sternlicht manages to bump it over the net. Milton now trying to set something up. They just have to bump it over. Nice diving grab by Alexander, and they set it up. A nice tap over by Bacon. Milton receives. They start to try and go for the spike. Spike goes long. Great diving dig by Kali Alexander to keep the play alive for Brookline, and then the spike attempt by number 18, Katie Eckhart, went long for Milton. So now the score 6-4. Another serve for Alexander. Received. Milton going for the attack again. The spike slightly deflected. Received by Sternlicht. Set by Brandel. Spike by Chamberlain. Diving dig by the libero, but they couldn't get it back over. The spike by Eckhart goes into the net. So Brookline with a nice streak of a couple points here. The score now 6-5. They trailed 4-0 to start this game. Now another serve for Alexander. Received, and that's going to go off the pole and wide. I think that was Eckhart again. She's had a tough sequence here. But Alexander's having a great sequence as the server and as the libero on the back line, on the back end rather. Serve is over, received by Eckhart cleanly. Now Milton goes for it. Oh, just off the net cord. May have been slightly deflected by the blockers for Brookline, but they couldn't get it over the net. And so the point goes to Milton. Milton retakes the lead at 7-6. And getting set to serve for Milton is number 33, Courtney Lee. Lee with the serve. Received by Chamberlain, set by Brandel. Chamberlain going for the spike, deflected, dive by the libero, and then pushed over. Nice receive by Brandel and Alexander, and then just tapped over. Milton trying to go for the attack. Well spiked by Eckhart. That's what they were looking for the past few plays. And so Milton increased the lead to 8-6. Be another serve from Courtney Lee. He sends it up and wide. So the faulty serve gives Brookline the point. Milton leads 8-7. Bree Bacon lining up for the serve for Brookline. Nice serve up and over. Milton gets set. They just tap it over. Bacon receives. Alexander with the bump. And then Sternlicht bumps it over, but it's just tapped. And now Brookline in a bit of a desperate recovery. Brandel with a nice reverse tap over the net. Now Milton getting set. They send it over. Received by Bacon. Alexander. And then Chamberlain tried to bump it. It was either blocked or hit the net. Either way, Milton gets the point. Brookline was on their heels for that entire sequence and just couldn't get themselves into a good spot. Milton takes the point, and now Eckhart on the serve. 9-7 the score here in the first set. Serve is up and over and couldn't be received by Jamie Chamberlain. Line drive serve there by Eckhart. Katie Eckhart got Milton the point. It's now 10-7. Milton leads Brookline here in the first set. Eckhart with the serve, and this one is long, and that's going to get Brookline the point. 10-8 now the score. Wildcats lead the Warriors here in the first set. And Jamie Chamberlain will be taking the serve for Brookline. Chamberlain sends it up, a bit shallow, but received by Milton. And they tap it over, but they couldn't quite tap it over. It hits the net, and Brookline gets the point. Last attempted tap was by number 4, Avery Noon. Another serve from Chamberlain. Milton just bumps it over, received by Alexander. Set by Bacon, spike attempt by Brandel, but Milton manages to receive and reset. They go for the attack. Diving snag by Alexander, and after the set, she just has to push it over. Milton trying to get it over, and that last spike Had a bit of a float to it and couldn't be cleanly received by Brookline. Milton gets the point, 11-9. I believe that was number 30, Sophia Manning, for Milton, who got them that point. 11-9 now the score. Close first set here at Tappan Street Gym. Manning getting ready for the serve for Milton. Sends it over, a bit of a line drive. Received. And last hit over is Brandel. Now Milton getting set. They go for a light tap and they faked out the blockers. Savvy play there by Milton's number 12, Jamie Milliken. And so it'll be another serve for Manning as Milton leads 12-9. Manning sends it up and over. Received. Set up. Spiked by Chamberlain, but well received by Milton. And a reverse set goes over the net. Brookline had to reset, but they did so very well. Now Milton a bit on their heels. They get it over. Received by Chamberlain. Set by Bacon. The spike goes over by Gumpel, but it goes long. Millie Gumpel went on the attack there, but her shot just sailed too high and long. And so Milton gets the point. They keep their streak going. It's 13-9 the score. Another serve from Sophia Manning. Off the net cord, but received by Gumpel. Set by Bacon. Sent over by number 12. And Milton unable to recover. Nicely placed light spike without a jump by number 12, Caroline Viola, who will now go for the serve for Brookline as they trail Milton 13-10 here in the first set. Viola serves it over, received, and just a quick tap over and well placed. Savvy play by Milton's number 33, Courtney Lee. On the second hit, she decided to just push it over the net into the back corner, and Brookline was caught out of position, waiting for them to get set for the spike. And so Milton gets the point. For some reason, the scoreboard still reads 13-10. I could have sworn Milton just got their 14th point, but scoreboard's not showing it. Either way, this is number 32, Bridget Lee, on the serve, and serves it right into the net. Brookline now on the serve. This will be number 16, Morgan Brandel. Scoreboard now showing 14-11, so the scoreboard's caught up. Nice jumping serve by Brandel, and almost couldn't get it back. Milton couldn't. Received by Alexander, set by Brandel. Gumpel with a spike, well placed. Morgan Brandel put them right on their heels with a nice jumping serve. And then Brookline with a nicely executed set play, finishing with the spike by Gumpel. Brandel with the serve. And a really high receive by Milton, but they get the play set, but it's spiked wide by number 10, Gabby Martin. So Brookline with a point streak going here, 14-13. Brandel's powerful serves are clearly catching Milton off rhythm. Goes for another one. And they blow the whistle. I'm not sure why, but Brookline gets the point. Milton might have made an illegal move of some kind while they were getting ready to receive Brandel's serve. So another point for Brookline, knots this one up at 14. Brandel with another serve, but right into the net this time. That brings her point streak to an end and gives Milton back the lead at 15-14. Now Milton's number 4, Avery, getting ready for the serve, a jumping serve of her own. Received by Chamberlain, but off her hands and over to the far wall. Couldn't get a clean reception on that one, and Milton takes a 16-14 lead. Avery with another jumping serve, this time cleanly received by Chamberlain, set by Brandel, and a tap over by Alexander. And I think they're going to say that Alexander slightly mishandled the tap. Maybe both her hands didn't hit at the same time, not sure, but Milton takes a 17-14 lead off of that. Another serve for Avery. Over the net. Received. Close to the net, but they managed to keep it in play and send it over. Milton now getting set, going for the attack. Spike by number 10 goes long. Gabby Martin once again misses on the spike. And so Brookline closes the gap to 17-15 as number 9, Lily Sternlicht, gets ready for the serve. Sternlicht sends it up long, but Milton receives it towards the back end. And Martin sends it right into the net. Couldn't get a clean hit on the attempted spike there. And so Brookline now within 1, 17-16. Sternlicht getting ready for another serve. It's up and over. Received by Avery. Set by Lee. Spike by Eckhart, well blocked, and now Milton trying to reset. They tap it over the net, but they're going to say either too many hits or, oh no, I think they said an illegal hit. Both hands got to hit at the same time if you're going to go for a set, and I guess they didn't do that cleanly. So Brookline ties this thing up at 17. Sternlicht getting ready for the serve. High floater, received, set up, tapped over, well received by Sternlicht herself, and Brookline was trying to get it over. Someone's hand might have touched the net there, and Milton gets the point. 18-17, Milton leads. We are still so tightly matched here in the first set. Getting ready for the serve is the libero, Caroline Humphrey for Milton. Serve goes over, received by Alexander, set by Brandel. Chamberlain for the spike. Deflected and received by Milton. Now Eckhart going for the spike and hits the back line. Well placed by Katie Eckhart. And Milton's lead increases to 19-17. Milton just a couple points away from taking this first set. Another serve by Humphrey. Received by Alexander. Brandel hits, and then nice spike by Chamberlain, but it's barely received by Humphrey, and Milton resets. They're on the defensive, though. They send it over the net. Sternlicht to Brandel to Chamberlain, but they were just slightly off the mark there. Brandel set just a little too far, and Chamberlain was too far back. And so Milton gets the point as it goes into the net. 20-17, and Brookline calls a timeout. So head coach Erin Deneen will be talking with her crew, trying to see if they can come back in this set. Milton currently at set point with a 20-17 lead here in the first set. Brookline's been keeping with them pretty well thus far, but one sort of weak spot is that back far corner. Milton's outside hitters have been going there quite a few times, and sometimes they've caught it in a spot where nobody's there. So the two teams coming out of the timeout. Milton Wildcats 20, Brookline Warriors 17. Milton at set point here in the first set. Caroline Humphrey getting set up for the serve for Milton. Serve is up and over. Received by Sternlicht. Set by Brandel. Spike by Chamberlain. Off the net cord, but received by Milton. And now they just have to bump it over the net. They were slightly off kilter. Sternlicht receives. Set by Brandel. Medina goes for the spike, but it goes wide, and that's going to do it for the first set. Oh no, my mistake. They go to 25, not 21. So Milton with a 21-17 lead. Humphrey with another serve. Received by Alexander. Set by Brandel. Chamberlain taps it over. Good spot, but I think they're going to say that Chamberlain gets... Chamberlain, I think, hit the net or the pole or something. She just couldn't stop her momentum as she was going for the running tap over the net. It was well placed and would have got Brookline the point, but instead Milton leads 22-17. Humphrey with another serve, received by Alexander, set by Brandel, hit over by Bree Bacon. Milton trying to reset. It goes off of the basketball backboard, and Milton couldn't quite reorganized themselves off of that weirdness, and Brookline gets the point. Nice hit over the net by number 7, Bree Bacon, who now gets set for the serve for Brookline. She goes for a jumping serve, received by Humphrey, set by Lee, spiked by Eckhart, received by Alexander, kept alive by Bacon, and Brandel tried to hit it over but didn't have the angle, trying to do it while leaning backwards and couldn't quite get the angle, right angle off her hand, and it flies right into the net. So I believe that is 23-18 score in favor of Milton. It is. Milton with the serve, received by Sternlicht, set by Bacon, spiked by Chamberlain, well received by Humphrey, tapped over on the second hit, received by Bacon, set by Brandel. Chamberlain goes for the spike, but oh, they're going to say that Brandel didn't get a proper set. It was two hands separately instead of both at the same time, and so now Milton with set point, 24-18 the score. Number 33, Courtney Lee on the serve, up and over, received by Sternlicht, set by Bacon, tapped over by Chamberlain, received by Humphrey, set by Lee, and a spike, but well received by Alexander as Sternlicht gets it up and over the net, received by Humphrey, another set by Lee, but Lee bumped into the net, and that's going to be a point for Brookline. Great dig out by Kali Alexander off the attempted spike by Sophia Manning to keep Brookline in the point long enough for Milton to make a mistake. 24-19, Milton still at set point. Jamie Chamberlain on the serve for Brookline. Serve goes up and can't reach the net, and that's going to give Milton the point and the first set. 25-19, the final score of the first set as Milton takes a 1-0 set lead. We're going to take a quick mute break here. Once again, I'm Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan live at Tappan Street Gym in Brookline, Massachusetts. We'll be back after a short break. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Tappan Street Gym in Brookline, Massachusetts. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan here, bringing you the second set of this high school girls volleyball matchup between the hosting Brookline High Warriors and the visiting Milton High Wildcats. Milton took the first set 25-19, and the two teams staying on the same sides of the court. Brookline in white jerseys playing on my right, Milton in red jerseys playing on my left. For Brookline, they start out on the floor with a set that features number 16, Morgan Brandel, number 8, Jamie Chamberlain, number 14, Ayana Medina, number 11, Sophie Hester, number 10, Millie Gumpel, and number 12, Caroline Viola. Except no, they're going to switch out. Medina's coming out in favor of the libero, Fair Caballero. And it'll be Brookline starting the serve with number 16, Morgan Brandel. And she goes for the jump serve and gets things going. Received by Milton. They get set, and last hit goes into the net, and Brookline gets the first point. Slightly off kilter, and number 10, Gabby Martin, couldn't get it over the net off her back foot, and so Brookline takes the 1-0 lead. Another serve from Brandel goes wide. Went off the side of her hand, and that'll get Milton on the board 1-1. Taking the first serve for Milton will be number 4, Avery Liu. She's got a jumping serve as well, but hers goes straight into the net, and so Brookline will have 2-1. Millie Gumpel will be taking the serve for Brookline now. Brookline with a 2-1 lead after back-to-back faulty serves on both sides. Gumpel sends her serve up and over. Received by Eckert, set by Bridget Lee. Sent over the net by Milton, received by Caballero, set by Brandel, and Caballero couldn't send it over the net. She had to do a running hit and couldn't get the right angle off her hand, and so that'll knot things up at 2. Caroline Humphrey, the libero, setting up for the serve for Milton. Serve is up and over, received by Chamberlain. Set by Brandel. Chamberlain going for the spike, and it goes into the net. Both teams struggling to get it over the net early in this second set as Milton takes a 3-2 lead. Humphrey getting ready for another serve. It's up and over and goes off the hands of Caballero, and that's going to be an ace for Caroline Humphrey. 4-2 the score in favor of Milton as they already have a 1-0 set lead. Humphrey sends it over, received by Chamberlain, set by Brandel. Chamberlain for the spike. Over to the back end, barely received by Liu. Eckhart and Bridget Lee send it over, received by Sternlicht, set by Brandel. Spike attempt, and Milton in recovery mode, still off their back feet there, and the last shot goes long. Oh no, they're going to say it just barely hit the back line. A defensive hit over by Sophia Manning just managed to clip the back line as Milton was trying to recover off a nice spike by Caroline Viola. Milton up 5-2. Serve received by Chamberlain, but Brookline barely gets it over the net, and now Milton trying to get it back over. Caballero receives, set by Brandel. Spike attempt by Viola, received by Milton, and they go for a tap over, barely received, and then tapped back over by Eckhart for the point. Diving dig by Morgan Brandel kept Brookline in it, but floated just a little too far and allowed Eckhart to tap it right back for the kill. 6-2, now the score in favor of Milton. Humphrey with another serve, received by Caballero, set by Brandel. Chamberlain for the spike off the side of her hand and into the net. 6 unanswered points so far for the Wildcats as they now lead the Warriors 7-2 here in the second set. Humphrey getting ready for another serve. Up and over and off the hands of Sternlicht and too far back. Another service ace for Humphrey. 8-2 now the score as Milton pulling away early in this second set. Humphrey with another serve. Received by Gumbel, set by Brandel. Caballero sends it up and over and long. Another point for Milton as they are now up 9-2. Serve up and over, and this one is long. So finally the long streak ends. 8 unanswered points with Caroline Humphrey at the serve. 7 of those points off of her serves. And Milton leads 9-3 after that last long serve. Fair Caballero, the libero, going for the serve for Brookline. Milton got a lot of success with their libero serving. We'll see what this one can do. And we got a faulty serve by Caballero. I think they're saying her foot might have crossed the back line. And so Milton now goes up 10-3. Getting set for the serve for Milton will be number 33, Courtney Lee. Serve goes up and over. Low dig by Brookline, and they managed to get it over. Milton resets, spike by Eckhart, received by Caballero, set by Brandel. Chamberlain for the spike towards the back end, but received by Milton. They couldn't quite get reset though, and Brookline gets the point. A nice spike by Chamberlain, and Milton didn't get the angle they wanted off their receive, and so they were just completely off kilter on that recovery attempt and ultimately couldn't get it back. 10-4 the score in favor of Milton. Bree Bacon bringing the serve for Brookline. Received by Milton. Set by Courtney Lee. An attempted spike goes into the net. Spike attempt by number 21, Molly Shea. Does not quite work, and score is now 10-5. Bacon with another serve. Dug out by Humphrey. Tapped over by Courtney Lee. Received by Brookline. Chamberlain for another spike. And I think they're going to say one of the Milton players touched the net in their attempt to block it. And so that'll be 10-6. Bree Bacon getting ready for another serve. Up and over, received by Liu. Courtney Lee bumps it, and they couldn't get it over off that last hit by number 21, Molly Shea. Brookline on a roll here, 10-7 now the score. Diving dig on the serve by Liu, and once again, Milton couldn't get quite the set they wanted to. They just had to try and tap it over, and it went wide, and Brookline gets the point. 10-8, Brookline on a 5-0 run. Bacon with another serve, off the net court and over. Bit of luck there gives Bacon a service ace. Sophia Manning was turned around looking for the ball, and it hit her in the back. And now it's 10-9. Bacon with another serve, received by Liu. Shea bumps it up and sent into the net by Eckert. Katie Eckert's spike attempt didn't quite work, and now Brookline has knotted things up. A 7-0 run with Bree Bacon on the serve, and we got a timeout called by Milton after they blew that lead. Bree Bacon showing some nice power and placement on her serves right now. She doesn't jump very high for her serves, but she is bringing a jumping serve, which is a nice asset to have at the high school level. And she's been getting Milton off kilter repeatedly with her serves. And when you get your opponent on their back feet in volleyball, that allows you to get the clean set plays that you want, so you can start putting the ball where you want, putting the right amount of power on it. And, well, the results show on the scoreboard. You know, it's been a very streaky match on both ends at various times, both in the first set and in this current second one. Once again, Milton won the first set 25-19, and Brookline has come back from a 10-3 deficit to tie things up at 10 here in the second set. Coming out of the timeout, Bree Bacon ready for another serve. Serve is up and over, received by Liu, bumped by Courtney Lee, tapped over by Sophia Manning, but tapped back by Brandel. Diving dig by Liu and tapped over by Milton. Brookline starts to get set, tapped over by Chamberlain, received by Courtney Lee. Humphrey taps it up. Eckhart sends it over, received by Bacon. Caballero taps it up, sent over by Gumbel. Another nice receive by Humphrey. Milton bumps it over. Courtney Lee just bumps it. Nice sliding receive by Caballero. Chamberlain for the spike, received by Liu. Tapped back over, tapped up by Bacon. Caballero bumps it up. Spike attempt by Chamberlain, and she gets the kill. Exciting rally there. Ends with a very well-placed spike into no man's land by Jamie Chamberlain. Brookline takes their first lead since 2-1 in this second set, 11-10. Bacon with another serve, and this one sails long. 8 straight service points won by Brookline with Bree Bacon on the serve. But now the long serve knots this game up at 11. Milton getting ready to serve. This is number 18, Katie Eckhart, who sends it up and over, and I think they're going to say there's a foot fault. I think they're going to say her foot touched the line or went over it. And so Brookline immediately gets the point right back, 12-11. Jamie Chamberlain now set to serve. She sends it up and over, received by Humphrey, hit by Courtney Lee, sent over by Liu, and they're going to say that got the back line and ties things up. So nice spike by Avery Liu, catches the back line and gets the point for Milton, knotting this game at 12 apiece here in the second set. Sophia Manning getting ready for the serve for Milton. Manning sends it up and over, received by Caballero, bumped by Bacon, and tapped over by Chamberlain. Nice net court play. Milton barely recovers, though, and sends it back over. Received by Chamberlain, set by Bacon. The spike catches the sideline. Nice spike by Morgan Brandel. Brookline with a 13-12 lead, and they've had some very pretty-looking kills in this set, including that last one by Morgan Brandel, who's usually a setter for this team. but she showed she can get the kill as well. So now for Brookline, serving will be Ayana Medina. Medina sends it up and over, received by Liu. Set by Lee, sent over by Liu, received by Medina, bumped by Bacon, and Chamberlain didn't get the angle, sent it well wide, and Milton gets the point. 13-13 the score. And it looks like it'll be Bridget Lee taking the serve for the Wildcats. Lee sends it up and over, received by Gumbel, set by Bacon, sent over, and they get the point off of the spike by number 12, Caroline Viola. Just a bit of a weird angle for Milton as they tried to receive it. And so now Brookline on the serve. This will be Brandel with the jumping serve, but that's going to sail long and give Milton the point right back. 14-14 the score here in the second set. Milton leads Brookline 1-0. And we're all knotted up here at the second set, 14-14. Avery Liu with the jumping serve, received by Chamberlain, set by Brandel, sent over by Gumbel, blocked, but oh, it bounces over to the Milton side, and Brookline gets the point. A nice block attempt by Milton, but just off the fingertips, and it went almost straight up, bounced off the net cord, and over to the Milton side. 15-14, the Brookline lead. Getting ready to serve is number 9, Lily Sternlicht. Sternlicht sends it up and over. Received by Humphrey. Sent up by Bridget Lee. Eckhart for the attempted spike, and it goes right into the net. Brookline with another point. 16-14 now, the Brookline lead. Sternlicht with another serve. Received by Humphrey. Set by Bridget Lee. Tapped over. Received by Sternlicht. Set by Brandel. Chamberlain for the spike was blocked, but received by Brandel. Another set, and this time Chamberlain spikes it into the net. A nice recovery off the blocked spike by Morgan Brandel to give Brookline another chance on the attack, but Chamberlain's spike didn't have the angle, and it went straight into the net. 16-15 the score. Caroline Humphrey now serving for Milton. It's dug out by Caballero, tapped over by Brandel. Bit of no man's land, but brought out by Bridget Lee, and eventually they just have to bump it over. Sternlicht on the receive, set by Brandel. Spike attempt by Chamberlain, off the fingertips, and then received by Liu. Bridget Lee sets, spiked over by Eckhart, received by Caballero, set by Brandel, tapped over by Chamberlain, nicely placed. 17-15 the score after a nice tap kill there by Jamie Chamberlain. Chamberlain's had a few very precisely placed shots so far this second set. Fair Caballero with the serve for Brookline, received by Humphrey, set by Bridget Lee, and sent straight into the net by number 10, Gabby Martin. So the mistake there by Martin gives Brookline an 18-15 lead. Caballero with the serve. Received awkwardly by Liu and sent behind her, and that's going to be a service ace for Fair Caballero. 19-15, Brookline starting to pull away late in this set, and we got another timeout by Milton. We've seen the same pattern these first couple of sets. Both teams getting their streaks back and forth, keeping things very tightly knit until the later stages of the set. But then one team starts to pull away, gaining the late momentum, and in this set, that team pulling away late seems to be the Warriors. Milton with the 1-0 set lead after a 25-19 win in the first set, but Brookline now with a 19-15 lead here in the second. Coming out of the timeout, Farrah Caballero going back to serve for Brookline with a 19-15 lead. Serve goes up and over, received by Eckhart, set by Bridget Lee. Eckhart going for the spike, well blocked by Brookline. That was Ayana Medina with help from Jamie Chamberlain on the block. And Brookline now leads 20-15. Serve by Caballero is up and over, received by Eckhart, set by Lee. This time spiked by Martin and just long. That was a close call along the back line, but the spike by Gabby Martin just went long, and so it'll be a 21-15 Brookline lead. Caballero with another serve, received by Lou, set by Bridget Lee, spiked over by Sophia Manning, received by Caballero, bumped and blocked, and Brookline still trying to recover, and they get it over, and they got the point. Milton was a little confused there. They thought that Brookline had too many hits, but after a block at the net by Milton, Brookline got to reset, and they managed to get it over in 3 hits while Milton thought the point was over. 22-15 the lead. Serve, diving dig by Humphrey, tapped over by Bridget Lee. Brookline barely recovers. Nice diving recovery by Farrah Caballero. Brookline sends it over, and now Milton getting set. Spike attempt by Manning is scores. Morgan Brandel couldn't quite get the angle to receive that spike from Sophia Manning, and that'll get the point to the Wildcats. 22-16 now the score here in the second set. Courtney Lee setting up for the serve for Milton. Up and over, received by Caballero, set by Brandel. Chamberlain for the spike, well placed again. Courtney Lee tried to reach her hand out and just keep that ball alive, not knowing that Caroline Comfrey was starting to dive for it behind her. And so Jamie Chamberlain with another kill this set. She's been on fire here in the second set, and it shows on the scoreboard. Brookline 23, Milton 16. Bree Bacon back on the serve, and it catches the back line for an ace. Bree Bacon got several unanswered points off her serve to get Brookline back from an early 10-3 deficit, and now she's on the verge of giving her team the set. 24-16 the score. Bacon with the serve, received by Lou, bumped by Courtney Lee, sent over by Molly Shea. Bit of confusion there, but Brookline trying to reset. They just have to bump it over. Received by Humphrey and tapped down by Jamie Chamberlain. Did she reach over? That's the question, and they say she didn't. And so that's going to get the last point. One last kill by Jamie Chamberlain to put an exclamation mark on that second set. Brookline takes it 25-16. Nice savvy play by Jamie Chamberlain to end it, as Milton was slightly a little off kilter, and the ball was just floating around that barrier between the two sides, and Chamberlain decided to just lightly tap it down and end the set. So with the two teams knotted up at 1 set apiece, we'll be taking a short mute break as we get ready for the third set. Once again, live at Tappan Street Gymnasium. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, and we'll be back after a short mute break. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Tappan Street Gym in Brookline, Massachusetts. Coming to you live, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, here to bring you the third set of this high school girls volleyball matchup between the hosting Brookline High Warriors and the visiting Milton High Wildcats. We are tied at 1 set apiece as we head into the third set. Milton took the first set 25-19, while Brookline took the second 25-16. And so the first serve for this set will go to Milton, and they'll start with number 32, Bridget Lee. Lee, the southpaw, sends it up and over. Received by Millie Gumple, set by Bree Bacon, and bumped over from a weird angle by Gumple, but they get the point anyway. Spiked right into the net by number 12, Jamie Milliken. And Brookline gets the first point of this third set. It'll be number 16, Morgan Brandel, bringing her jump serve for Brookline. Sends it up and over. Received Tapped up and just sent over by Milton, received by Brookline, but the spike gets blocked. The attempted spike by Brookline's number 12 was blocked by Milton's number 12. The attempted spike by Caroline Viola as Milton ties it up at 1. Serve goes over and Brookline tried to get set, but the spike attempt by Sophie Hester goes into the net. It's number 4, Avery Liu, serving for Milton. Her serve is received at an awkward angle by Jamie Chamberlain, and no one was there to follow it up. So Milton now takes a 3-1 lead. Liu ready for another serve, up and over, and nobody could receive that. That's going to be a service ace. Both Kali Alexander and Jamie Chamberlain were going for it, and neither one, it might have skimmed just barely off of Alexander's arm, but neither one got a good shot at it. 4-1 now the score after the service ace by Avery Liu. Another serve from Liu, up and over, and off the hands of Chamberlain for another service ace. Liu bringing some fast and long serves here that are giving the backcourt players fits for Brookline. 5-1 now the score. Another serve from Liu, received by Chamberlain, set by Brandel, spiked by Viola, and that's going to go for the kill. Bridget Lee tried to receive it, but it bounced off her hands and away from her. And so that's going to make the score 5-2. Well hit by Caroline Viola. It'll be number 9, Lily Sternlicht, on the serve for Brookline as they trail Milton early in this set 5-2. Serve up and over, received by Eckhart, set by Bridget Lee, spiked by Eckhart, and couldn't be blocked cleanly by Brookline. Viola and Hester were there trying to block. I think it bounced off Hester's hands, but bounced back into the side. So no chance for Brookline. 6-2 the score. Caroline Humphrey on the serve for Milton. Dug out by Chamberlain, set by Brandel, and a smash off the net cord by Chamberlain. A lucky bounce. It went right to where nobody was after it bounced off the net cord. And so now the score 6-3 after another kill by Jamie Chamberlain. Kali Alexander, the libero, going for the serve for Brookline. Sent up and over, received awkwardly by Liu, and no one could follow it up. And so good serve by Alexander. Score now 6-4. Alexander sends another serve over. Another awkward reception, this time by Eckhart, and another service ace. Alexander sends her serves back from really far away, like several steps behind the back line. Not something you typically see, and that might just be throwing off Milton's players. Just the timing a little bit. Alexander with another serve, received by Eckhart, bumped by Liu, and bumped over by Manning. Received by Alexander, set by Brandel. Medina taps it over lightly. Recovery by Eckhart, bumped by Lee, and then bumped over by Liu. Received by Alexander, set by Brandel. Spike attempt by Medina goes right into the net. Brookline had them on their heels the entire point, but faulty spike attempt ends with a point for Milton. 7-5 now the score in favor of the Wildcats. Courtney Lee with the serve, up and over, received by Alexander, bumped by Brandel, spiked by Chamberlain, received by Humphrey. Milton sending it over. The spike by Eckhart is well placed. Katie Eckhart with the kill, and Milton now takes the 8-5 lead. Another serve from Courtney Lee, received this time by Sternlicht, bumped by Brandel, and bumped a little too close to the net. No one could get a clean hit on it to get it over. And so Milton gets the point, 9-5. Another serve from Lee. Received by Alexander. Set by Brandel. Sent into the net by Hester. 10-5. Now the score in favor of Milton. Serve coming from Courtney Lee. Received by Chamberlain. Set by Brandel. Spiked by Chamberlain. And Humphrey couldn't dig it out this time. So another kill for Jamie Chamberlain. Gets Brookline back on serve and cuts the deficit to 10-6. And coming in to serve now is Bree Bacon, who gave him that big comeback from a 10-3 deficit and the last 2 points of the last set. Her serve goes up, received by Lou, set and then spiked, received by Alexander, bumped by Bacon, and then bumped over by Sternlicht. Received by Lou, set by Courtney Lee, and the spike either went into the net or was blocked. Attempted spike by Eckhart was either faulty or it might have been blocked by Ayana Medina and Morgan Brandel. Either way, Bree Bacon gets ready to serve once again, her team trailing 10-7. Jumping serve up and over, awkwardly off of Molly Shea, bumped by Lou and then bumped back over by Shea, received by Alexander, set by Bacon, tapped over by Brandel, received by Courtney Lee, bumped by Humphrey, sent over by Eckhart, well received by Alexander. Bacon sets, tap over by Alexander, and the attempted receive by Katie Eckhart goes wide. Another kill for Jamie Chamberlain. 10-8 now the score. Bree Bacon back on the serve, sends it over, received by Humphrey, bumped by Courtney Lee, sent over by Shea, received by Alexander, bumped back by Bacon, but too awkward, and Sternlicht couldn't get it over the net. Slightly off kilter on that second hit. Alexander received the spike well, but Bacon wasn't quite ready for it to go where it did. It was just slightly off from where it needed to be, and Bacon ended up sending it at an angle that Sternlicht couldn't finish it. Milton now on the serve. Dug out by Chamberlain, set by Bacon, pushed over by Chamberlain, received by Courtney Lee, bumped by Humphrey, sent over by Molly Shea, received by Alexander, set by Bacon, Chamberlain for the spike, and it's received by Milton. They're trying to recover. Lou sends it over. Diving receive by Alexander. Bacon bumps it, and then Sternlicht bumps it, but it goes wide. Exciting rally there. And it ends with a point for Milton, 12-8. Both teams had some nice digs off attempted spikes, but instead Milton back on the service. Received by Chamberlain awkwardly. Bacon gets it back in, and Alexander sends it over. Now Milton attempted back tap over the net by Courtney Lee, goes into the net instead, and the score is now 12-9. As Millie Gumbel comes in subbing for Lily Sternlicht. Chamberlain on the serve, and she sends it barely over. Milton caught just a bit unawares. They send it over, received by Bacon, bumped by Alexander, spiked by Gumbel, blocked. Brookline trying to recover. They managed to, and Chamberlain sends it over the back end, received by Humphrey, set by Lee, and they're gonna say it was the hands didn't hit at the same time on the set. So illegal set there by Milton, and Brookline now closes the gap to 12-10. Chamberlain back on the serve, sends it over, received by Humphrey, set by Courtney Lee, spiked by Lou is blocked, recovered by Humphrey, tapped over by Shea, received by Chamberlain, and a bit of miscommunication there by Brookline will cost them the point. Millie Gumbel was ready there with the second hit, but Bree Bacon didn't see her, and so she was desperately trying to keep the point alive. They collided a bit and lost track of the ball. 13-10, the score in favor of Milton. Sophia Manning on the serve for the Wildcats. Sends it up and over, received by Gumbel, set by Bacon, spiked by Gumbel, goes right into the net. Milton now leads Brookline 14-10 here in the third set. The two teams tied at one set apiece. Manning ready for the serve, up and over, received by Alexander, set by Bacon, sent over by Medina, and very well placed Milton thought it was going to sail out. I thought it was going to sail out, but it managed to catch that far sideline in a spot that had just floated over all the Milton players. Nice kill by Ayana Medina, who now gets set for the serve with her team leading 14-11. Serve is up and over, received by Humphrey. Set by Lee. Shea couldn't get it up and over the net. And so that's going to be a point for Brookline. 14-12 the score as Medina gets ready to serve again. Serve is up and over, received by Humphrey. Bumped by Lee, sent over, received by Chamberlain, set by Bacon, pushed over by Gumbel, received by Liu, set by Courtney Lee, sent over by Shea, received by Medina, sent up by Bacon, tapped over by Viola, and Milton managed to receive it but couldn't get it over the net. Last hit by Liu went into the net. Score now 14-13. Medina sends it up and over the net, received by Humphrey, bumped by Courtney Lee, spiked by Liu, received by Bacon, set by Brandel, sent over by Viola, and Viola gets the kill. Milton couldn't quite defend that one, and we're all knotted up at 14 apiece. Great reception off the spike by Bree Bacon, kept Brookline alive to get set, and it looks like we're going to get a foot fault on Medina. Her foot touched the back line on her serve, and so that'll give it over to Milton, but not after a nice comeback to knot things up. Milton will take the 15-14 lead and get the serve. Bridget Lee, the southpaw, will be sending this one over for the Wildcats. Lee sends it up and over, received by Chamberlain, set by Bacon, sent over, and a great spike by Morgan Brandel. Brandel gets the kill and knot things up at 15. So Brandel, after getting the spike, will get the serve as Brookline subs in Sophie Hester, replacing Bree Bacon. Jumping serve by Brandel, received awkwardly, but Milton manages to get it over, received by Brandel, bumped by Alexander, hit over by Gumbel, received, I believe that was Maureen Lang, bumped up by Bridget Lee, sent over by Liu, sent back over by Gumbel. Oh, it wasn't quite over, and it was too close to the net, and Morgan Gramble couldn't get it over. Morgan Brandel couldn't get that last one over. 16-15 now the score in favor of Milton. Avery Liu with the jumping serve for Milton. Received by Alexander. Bumped by Brandel. Sent over, and a line drive way long by Sophie Hester. 17-15 now the score in favor of Milton. Liu now on the serve. Received by Alexander. Set by Brandel. Sent over by Gumbel. Milton able to receive. Eckert with the spike. Received by Alexander. Set by Brandel. Tapped over by Viola. Diving return by Humphrey. And now it's pushed back by Alexander. Milton trying to recover. Spike by Liu. Received by Chamberlain. Set by Brandel. Sent over by Gumbel, but into the net. Millie Gumbel tried to finish that set. Couldn't quite do it. 18-15 now the score in favor of Milton. Avery Liu to serve once again. Serve is up and over. Received by Chamberlain. Set by Brandel. And bumped over by Gumbel and wide. 19-15 as Milton starting to pull away late in this third set. We've seen this play before the last couple of sets. Whoever gets that late momentum tends to get the set win. And Avery Liu giving that late momentum here to the Wildcats. She goes for another jumping serve. Received by Chamberlain. Set by Brandel. Tapped over by Viola, but they managed to receive it, and Eckhart sends it over, received by Alexander, set by Brandel, tapped over by Viola, but they're going to say illegal set by Brandel, and they're going to give the point to Milton. 20-15 now the score. Liu on the serve, received by Chamberlain, and it goes right over the net, and nobody was ready for it. Bit of a lucky accidental point there for Brookline. Chamberlain was just trying to receive it from an awkward angle. It ended up flying right over the net and right to where nobody was, and Milton was still thinking Brookline was going to try and get a 3-hit over instead of a 1-hit. 20-16 the score. Lily Sternlicht on the serve. Liu spikes it over off the net cord, but recovered by Chamberlain. Set by Brandel. Spiked, blocked. Brandel recovers. Alexander bumps it. It's bumped over by Chamberlain, but wide. Another point for Milton as they go up 21-16. After Sophie Hester's spike was blocked, Brandel with a nice recovery, but they couldn't quite finish. 21-16. Caroline Humphrey on the serve for Milton. And that's going to be a service ace as it went off the arms of Kali Alexander, then off one of the pipes on the roof of this gym, and no one could get it off that awkward a bounce. 22-16 the score in favor of Milton as Brookline calls a timeout. Like I said, we have seen this play before. These past couple of sets, the two teams play pretty neck and neck with some nice runs on both sides early on. But then whoever gets the last bit of momentum usually finishes things off. That was Milton in the first set. It was Brookline in the second set, and it looks like it's going to be Milton in the third as Caroline Humphrey lines up for the serve once again for Milton. Humphrey sends it over once again, received by Chamberlain, set by Brandel, and what in the world? I think Brookline got kind of confused because the buzzer off the scoreboard went off, so I think the officials called the play dead. I'm not entirely sure. Served by Humphrey, received by Chamberlain, kept in play by Hester, bumped over by Alexander, received by Humphrey, set by Bridget Lee. Attempted spike is deflected, and a diving receive by Brandel, sent over by Chamberlain. Milton resets, spike by Eckhart, goes long. What a dive by Morgan Brandel to keep the play alive for Brookline. Off the spike by number 10, Gabby Martin. And so Brookline gets the serve back as they trail 22-17. Kali Alexander on the serve, sends it up and over, received by Liu. Bumped by Bridget Lee. Close to the net, a little too close, but they're going to give the point to Milton. They're going to say Ayana Medina reached over the net. That probably would have been Brookline's point, but Medina was trying to make a savvy play, but she just reached over that boundary. Serve up off the net cord, and that'll be a service ace. Bit of luck there from Courtney Lee, as Milton now has set point, 24-17. Lee on the serve, up and over, received by Alexander. Tapped over by Brandel. Milton recovers, gets reset, spiked by Eckhart, and that's going to go for the kill and finish the set. Well-placed spike by Katie Eckhart finishes this third set. The score on that one, Milton 25, Brookline 17. So Milton takes the 2-1 set lead. So far, 25-19, Milton in the first set, 25-16, Brookline in the second set, and then 25-17, Milton in the third set. I'm Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, live at Tappan Gym in Brookline, Massachusetts, and I'll be back with the fourth set after a short mute break. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Tappan Street Gym in Brookline, Massachusetts. I'm just Mayfield-Sheehan here to bring you the fourth set of this high school girls volleyball matchup between the hosting Brookline High Warriors and the visiting Milton High Wildcats. The Wildcats took a 2-1 set lead after winning the third set 25-17. And so now Brookline with their backs to the wall, hoping to avoid the 3-1 loss. Brookline sends out an opening lineup of Millie Gumpel, Caroline Viola, Sophie Hester, Morgan Brandel, Jamie Chamberlain, and libero Fer Caballero. It'll be Brandel bringing her jump serves to start this fourth set for Brookline. And here we go. Her serve goes off the hands of Gabby Martin, and nothing doing there. That's going to be a service ace to start off the set. Brandel brings the highest vertical on her serves of any of the Brookline players, as she brings another jump serve received by Caroline Humphrey, set by Bridget Lee. Martin goes for the spike. It's blocked but recovered by Eckhart, tapped over by Jamie Milliken, recovered by Brandel and Caballero, but Gumpel spikes it into the net. 1-1 now the score. For those of you just joining us, we are here in the fourth set between Brookline and Milton girls volleyball. Score 1-1 here in the fourth set. Milton with a 2-1 lead. Avery Liu with the jumping serve for Milton, received by Caballero, bumped by Chamberlain, and then bumped over by Brandel. Received by Liu, set by Bridget Lee, and a tap by Jamie Milliken was received by Gumpel, set by Brandel, and they're going to say it was an illegal hit over the net by Sophie Hester. So that's 2-1 now in favor of Milton. Avery Liu setting up for the serve for Milton once again. Up and over, received by two players and somehow kept alive by Brandel and bumped over by Gumpel. Eckhart receives it, set by Bridget Lee, hit over and straight into the net by Eckhart. How did Brookline win that point? It seemed like Fer Caballero and Jamie Chamberlain almost collided on that initial reception, but then a diving hit by Morgan Brandel managed to keep the point alive so Millie Gumpel could hit it over the net. And then Milton made the mistake, and now it's a tie score. So number 9, Lily Sternlicht will take a serve for Brookline, up and over, received by Avery Liu, hit by Bridget Lee, pushed into the net by Caroline Humphrey. So another unforced error by Milton now gives Brookline the early 3-2 lead. Sternlicht with another serve. Received by Humphrey, bumped by Bridget Lee, sent over by Jamie Milliken, received by Caballero, set by Brandel, Chamberlain with the spike, and it goes into the net. So all knotted up at 3 now, and Caroline Humphrey will bring the serve for Milton. Sends a long serve, received by Chamberlain, set by Brandel, Chamberlain for the spike. Good spike, but received by Lee. And how did that get over? And Milton gets the point. Caroline Viola was just thrown off by the fact that that return went over the net at all. So Milton will take the 4-3 lead. Served by Humphrey, received by Caballero, set by Brandel. Chamberlain for another spike off the net cord, barely received by Manning, hit by Humphrey, and then hit over by Liu. Caballero returns, set by Brandel, tapped over by Viola, barely kept alive by Milton, and they can't get it over this time. It was deflected by Manning, and then a diving reach by Katie Eckhart kept things alive, but nobody could chase it down, and so Brookline gets the point. 4-4 now the score. It'll be Caballero bringing the serve for Brookline. Up and over, received by Liu, set by Bridget Lee, spiked by Eckhart, received by Caballero, off the roof, and nobody was there to get it. 5-4 now the score for Milton. off the nice spike by Katie Eckhart. And now it'll be Courtney Lee serving for Milton. Two sets to one in favor of Milton and 5 points to 4 in favor of Milton here in the fourth set. Courtney Lee bringing in the serve. Received by Caballero, set by Brandel, spiked by Chamberlain, barely blocked and kept alive by Molly Shea. Humphrey bumps it, and then Lou sends it over the net, received by Caballero, set by Brandel. Attempted tap by Medina is blocked by Sophia Manning, and Milton gets the point. 6-4 now in favor of the Wildcats here in the fourth set. Served by Courtney Lee, received by Caballero. Bumped by Brandel, tapped over by Medina, received by Eckhart, set by Courtney Lee, and they're going to say an illegal set by Lee is going to give Brookline the point. Six to 5 now the score, and Brookline brings in Bree Bacon, who has had a lot of success getting service points in this match so far. She brings her jumping serve and gets the ace off the first one. Molly Shea tried to receive it, but couldn't get the right angle. And so that'll knot things up at 6 apiece. Bacon brings it again, received by Lou, tapped over by Courtney Lee, tapped by Sternlicht, and then Bacon, and then Chamberlain sends it over, received by Humphrey, and another illegal set by Courtney Lee gives Brookline the point. Bree Bacon now getting ready for the serve. As Milton subs in Bridget Lee for Molly Shea. Bacon brings the serve, and that one just misses wide. And so we'll knot things up at 7. Bacon tried to bring it over to the near side on her left on the serve. Usually she sends him down the line along the right side. She tried something a little different, and it went just a little too far wide. Now Milton getting ready to serve, and this is number 26, Maureen Lang. Another southpaw. I don't think she's had a serve yet so far this match, so this should be something different. And her first serve is an ace. Bit of miscommunication there between Lily Sternlicht and Fair Caballero along the back line. The back end of the court, rather. And so it'll be 8-7. Serve goes up again, received by Caballero, bumped by Bacon, and then bumped over by Chamberlain. Received by number 11, set by Bridget Lee. Lou for the spike, slightly blocked, but not blocked enough. Morgan Brandel and Ayana Medina were both going for the block there, but their deflection went straight up into the air and not anywhere that someone could receive it. 9-7 now the score. Serve by Lang. Goes long. A good watch by Chamberlain along the back line. As the serve went long, he gave Brookline the point. If I'm not mistaken, that should make the score 9-8. It does. Now Chamberlain getting ready for the serve. Sends it over. Received and sent over the net. Tapped back over by Medina. Received by Lou. Set by Bridget Lee. Sent over by Manning. Received by Caballero. Bacon manages to keep it alive and sent over by Brandel. Received by Lee. Sent over by Manning. Received by Caballero. Bumped by Bacon. Sent over by Gumpel, but blocked. Recovered by Gumpel. Bacon keeping it alive. Caballero sends it over the net, and it goes off the hands of number 11 into the back wall. Brookline gets the point. Tied up at 9 after that failed receive by Rory Middleton. Chamberlain with another serve, and that's off the net. You could tell as she was throwing it up, her front foot wasn't where she wanted it to be, and she tried to reset while the ball was still in midair. That completely threw her off and resulted in a faulty serve. Milton now with the 10-9 lead. Sophia Manning bringing the serve. Sends it off the net cord, and no one could recover it. That'll go as a service ace. 11-9 now the score. Manning now bringing the serve again. Off the net cord again for another ace. Unbelievable. You're not going to see that very often. Back-to-back net cord aces. Manning goes for the serve. This one a little higher. Received by Bacon. Set by Brandel. Hit over by Chamberlain. Received by Manning. Bumped by Jamie Milliken. And then Lou sends it over. Received by Caballero. Set by Bacon. And long hit by Morgan Brandel. 13-9, now the score in favor of Milton here in the fourth set. Manning brings the serve. Received by Caballero. Set by Brandel. Tapped over by Gumpel. Received by Lang. Tapped by Lee. Then tapped over by Jamie Milliken, who gets the point. 14-9, now the score in favor of Milton. Manning going for another serve. They've had some good luck here on her service points. Received by Caballero. Set by Brandel, a bit off angle, but Chamberlain manages to get it over. Received by Manning. Set by Bridget Lee. Sent over by Lou. Received by... Oh, they're going to say there was a... I think they're going to say there was a double hit on the attempted block by Medina. And so another point for Milton, 15-9. Manning with another serve. Up and over, received by Gumpel. Set by Bacon, and Caballero couldn't get it over, but doesn't matter. They're going to say that Bacon had a double hit on her attempted set. Brookline is going to call timeout as Milton leads 16-9. Milton 9 points away from taking this match. The Wildcats took the first set 25-19. Brookline battled back to win the second set 25-16. And then Milton won the third set 25-17. And now Milton with a significant lead, 16-9 here in the fourth set. Milton pulling away a little earlier than what we've seen in previous sets. In previous sets, a lot of what we've seen, teams get some streaks in the early game back and forth, but overall keep things knotted up through the mid-game. And then in the late stages of the set is when the winner of the set pulls away and takes it. But Milton now with a 7-point lead here in the mid-game of this set. Coming out of the timeout by Brookline. Sophia Manning back to serve once again, and she sends it straight into the net. So a lucky start for Brookline out of their timeout, as they now get back on serve, and they'll be sending Morgan Brandel. No, not Brandel. A little bit of confusion about whose turn to serve it is. And it looks like the server will be Ayana Medina. So after the slight confusion there, Medina lining up for her serve. And she tosses it up but doesn't touch it, so now she serves it up and over. Received by Lang, tapped by Lee, and then tapped over by Lou. Received by Bacon, set by Brandel, spiked by Gumpel, goes into the net. Millie Gumpel couldn't quite get the elevation she needed off that one. And so Milton now leads 17-10. Looks like it'll be the southpaw Bridget Lee bringing the serves now for Milton. With her team holding a 7-point lead, just 8 points from the match. Lee with the serve, received by Chamberlain, set by Bacon, sent over by Brandel, received by Humphrey, set by Lee, pushed over by Humphrey, received by Chamberlain, set by Bacon, spike by Brandel, and I think this one's going to go for the kill. It does. Went off the arms of Caroline Humphrey, who was just trying to do all she could against a powerful spike by Morgan Brandel. But Brandel gets the kill, and now she'll get the serve. 17-11 the score in favor of Milton. Brandel brings her jump serve, and it goes right into the net. Brandel, one of the more powerful servers on Brookline's roster, and so some tough luck there that her first serve ends with a point for Milton. 18-11 now the score. Liu now bringing her jump serve, received by Caballero, but off the wall. Service ace by Avery Liu as Caballero couldn't receive it cleanly. 19-11 now the score. Liu with another serve, received by Chamberlain, but off an awkward angle, and it goes straight into the net, and Brandel couldn't keep it alive, so that'll make it 20-11. So a pair of strong serves by Avery Liu as Brookline struggling to get these back and get themselves back on serve. Liu with another serve, received by Chamberlain, bounces off the roof awkwardly, and no one was there to receive that. 3 consecutive service aces by Avery Liu. And the score is now 21-11. Liu with another serve, received by Caballero, set by Brandel, sent over by Chamberlain, barely received, and attempted tap over doesn't work. Milton gets another point after the failed tap by number 13, Charlotte Mullen. 22-11, now the score. Liu back to serve. Serve is up and over, received by Chamberlain. Bumped by Brandel, sent over by Chamberlain, received by Milton, bumped by Humphrey, sent over by Eckhart, and they're going to say that went off someone's hand. And so that point is going to go to Milton once again. The spike went long, but it was deflected off the hands of a Brookline player. And so the score is now 23-11 off the kill by Katie Eckhart. Just 2 more points needed for the Wildcats. Liu brings another serve, but this one sails long. So Brookline gets back on serve, facing a significant deficit as Lily Sternlicht subs back in for Charlotte Mullen, and Sternlicht will get the serve. 23-12, the score in favor of Milton. Sternlicht sends it over, received by Eckhart, set by Bridget Lee, bumped over by Eckhart kind of awkwardly, received by Caballero, set by Brandel, tapped over by Chamberlain, received by Bridget Lee, bumped by Liu, spiked by Eckhart, and that's going to go for the kill. Lily Sternlicht tried to dive for that one, but could only get one arm on it and couldn't get the right angle. So it's now match point for Milton. They lead Brookline 24-12 here in the 4th set. Caroline Humphrey bringing the serve, up and over, received by Caballero, set by Brandel, Chamberlain for the spike, well placed. Chamberlain's spike was placed perfectly off of that one. And so Brookline gets back on serve. 24-13 now the score. Fair Caballero with the serve. Up and over, received by Liu. Set by Bridget Lee, spike by Manning. Received by Caballero, kept alive by Brandel. Pushed over by Sternlicht. Received by Eckhart, hit by Lee, then hit into the net by Manning, and that's going to be another point for Brookline. So Brookline has fought off a couple of match points now, but they still got a long way to go. 24-14 is the score. Caballero with another serve, received by Liu, bumped by Lee, Sent over by Manning, barely received by Brandel, hit by Caballero, then hit over by Sternlicht, received by Humphrey, set by Lee, and the spike is going to win it. That was number 10, Gabby Martin, who got the winning kill there to finish off the match. A slight deflection from the blocker sent it off angle by one of the other receivers. And so that's going to end it here at Tappan Street Gymnasium. The final score of victory for the Milton High Wildcats, 25-19, 16-25, 25-17, and 25-14. So Brookline showed some fight in most of those sets and managed to get a couple of match points back before things ended. But ultimately, their first match of the season ends with a loss 3-1. The final score in favor of the Milton High Wildcats. These two teams will be back at it again tomorrow at Milton's gym, with the action set to start around 4:15, and I'll plan on being there as well. So I hope you plan on tuning in once again. For the last time, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan at Tappan Street Gymnasium, signing off. Thank you for listening.